Okay, so we want to tell you about a neighborhood in Queens that we think you should know about. It's called St. Albans.
Yeah, it was home to baseball players like Jackie Robinson and musicians like John Coltrane, Count Basie, and Ella Fitzgerald. Crystal has that story. Wow, some greats.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's very interesting. When I was a kid, my mom used to talk about all the famous people that came from this neighborhood, but I was a kid, so it didn't resonate with me the way it does now. Well, fast forward, I met Claire Sarant. She wrote a book called Images of America, St. Albans. It documents the area's rich history, and since it's one of the last days of February, I felt it was appropriate to bring it to you now. Take a look.
St. Albans is a quiet neighborhood in southeast Queens named after a city in England. Its enclave, Addisleigh Park, now preserved forever after being landmarked in 2011. Often called the African-American Gold Coast, it's known for its stately homes, most of them at one time owned by some of the biggest celebrities in the world.
This was sort of like the gateway of the black middle class in Queens.
Claire Sarant is author of the new book, Images of America, St. Albans. It documents the area's rich history.
You had the musicians coming in, and then you had, other like civil service workers leaving places like Brooklyn and Harlem and the Bronx. They wanted that suburban lifestyle. Just to have the beautiful homes and just, the quiet. To have an oasis from the city within the city. I think that was the appeal.
A St. Albans Long Island Railroad stop meant easy access by train. This colorful mural stands as a tribute to some of the famous people that once lived in this neighborhood. There's Billie Holiday and William Count Basie and baseball greats Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella.
Hey, misbehaving, saving my love for you.
Fats Waller, the iconic organist, was said to be one of the first people of color to move here. Born in Harlem in 1904, he was instrumental in getting some of his other great famous friends in the jazz world to check it out. One of them was actress and singer Lena Horne. Fats and Lena co-starred in the 1943 movie Stormy Weather.
Stormy weather.
Lena lived on this tree-lined street in this majestic-looking house on 178th Street. But it was the king of swing, band leader Count Basie, who was considered the unofficial mayor. This is where the Count lived on Adelaide Road.
Count Basie had parties at his pool. This was a grand neighborhood. This was lovely. You can imagine these guys, drinking, talking about music, and then walking home.
Basie was best friends with singer Ella Fitzgerald, the Queen of Jazz. Ella won 14 Grammys and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She was known for her purity of tone and impeccable diction. It's Ella's former home that was the backdrop for my interview with Claire.
Ella didn't drink, but she made sure that she had, beverages for her company.
And wouldn't you know it, as we were talking, the home's current owner, James Pearson, stepped outside. He moved here from Brooklyn in 2017 and says he loves the neighborhood and, of course, the house.
The home has a lot of historical value. She used to have get-togethers on the weekends. They used to go in her backyard, and they used to have fun. The original bar is still intact. My wife had an appraisal come across. The guy's like, this is worth so much money. Please don't sell it.
Jazz great John Coltrane made St. Albans his home. So did historian and civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Boxer Joe Louis was aggressive in the ring, but a gentle giant at home when he lived in this house on Murdoch Avenue. Now, you can't talk about legendary homes in St. Albans without talking about this one, which is often referred to as the Castle. It is where James Brown, the godfather of soul and the hardest working man in show business, lived for years. Michael Scotland is the president of the Addisleigh Park Civic Association.
So it's not only just making people aware that, hey, Addisleigh Park is this great hidden gem in Queens, but it's also letting them know that this is a great place to live. The houses are beautiful, as you see. on large lots. You can't get this anywhere else. Everyone is really friendly here.
And when many of those neighbors got ready to worship, they did it here at the St. Albans Congregational Church. Its unique look, the genius of legendary mid-century architect Frank Lloyd Wright. It seems every structure in this neighborhood was crafted with extreme attention to detail. A history author, Claire Serrant, is helping preserve.
The kids may not know the value of their homes. And so I wanted them to have a book to say, hey, this is why we moved here. This is what this neighborhood was and still is a community of strivers. Blacks moved in, they maintained, and you have people from all races will come here and they'll say, wow, this is a really nice place to live.
So the next time you walk down the streets of St. Albans, Queens, listen closely, and you just may find the howl of wind rustling the trees sounds more like the sweet sounds of Ella Fitzgerald.
I hope you enjoyed that. It is always my goal as a journalist to entertain and inform, so I wanted to bring that piece to you, and I hope you learned a little something.
Check, check, you did.
You did your thing, girl.
I like it. I checked those boxes. Thank you.